We'll now start the regular press briefing by Foreign Minister Motegi. From my side, I would like to talk about the raising of the warnings on infectious diseases. This novel coronavirus continues to spread currently, mainly in emerging countries and developing countries. The situation continues to require our vigilance. As of today, in 188 countries and regions, there are 6.57 million confirmed infection cases, and the total deaths around the world stands at more than 380,000. Given this situation, we look at infection cases per 10,000 people, as well as other situations, as well as daily trends. We take all of that into consideration, and we have the materials distributed to you, and the countries in red. For these countries, we will be raising the warnings on infectious diseases to level 3. This has already been put into effect. That is all from me. Thank you.
If you have a question, when you're pointed out, please proceed to the microphone, identify yourself by your name and affiliation, and ask a question. Any questions, please? Mr. Kimura-san. About relaxation of the entry, the restrictions in the phased manner. Vietnam, New Zealand, Australia, you had the teleconferences about the possibility of the required people's comings and goings. About the PCR test, and after entering to Japan, the waiting period, what will be the conditions that will be placed after the easement of the restrictions? Your take on that, please. First of all, about the teleconferences, with more than 40 countries held teleconferences, not just with those 3 countries you mentioned. About the 3 countries you mentioned, from a global perspective, infectious diseases are now getting under control in those countries. But as I have been sharing with you for a while, about the easement or relaxation of restrictions, it will be conducted in a phased manner. But human resources, it will be in phased manner. About the countries, again, with limited number of countries, the easement will be conducted. And then appropriate countermeasures against infectious diseases, those must be in place. Among the relevant ministries and agencies, what will be the measures that will be necessary about the PCR test issues? And kind of isolation or waiting issues, what kind of measures will be appropriate in tackling infectious disease? Those are being looked at.
So I understand that this is now being looked at, but 2-week waiting period is a mandatory period right now. So people entering the country, when you think about their needs, this 2-week waiting period, whether this waiting period matches their needs. What do you think about the idea of this 2-week waiting period? Now, COVID response and reopening of the economy, we have to strike the right balance. The same thing applies to the situation domestically. We need to strike the right balance. That is important. People who are here for business, from that day onwards, I believe that they want to start working. But on the other hand, in terms of preventing infections, whether that is all right or not, is something that we have to consider, including tests. And in what way those people will be able to set the boundaries of their movement. So inclusive of all these points, we are considering these matters with relevant ministries and agencies.
Different case, but the increasing the warning level to level 3, you gave us a list of countries, just like the past measures with the relevant agencies, ministries. You have a meeting among the ministers. Are they going to be denied entry? In principle, yes, but about 18 countries, between Japan and those 18 countries, comings and goings of people are not overwhelmingly large in those countries. So we would like to have measures at the appropriate timing.
Next question, please. Abe-san. Abe from Yomiuri Shimbun. Relaxation of entry restrictions. Now, we have the other party involved, but for the Japanese government in terms of restarting this exchange? When do you intend to start such negotiations going forward? Well, we're in the midst of that consultation and negotiation. Next question, please.
Oishi-san? TV Asahi Oishi is my name. About Japan-Korean relationship. From around the problems of local workers from the Korean Peninsula, the public notice has been made. There's going to be the one step forward about the monetization of the assets of the defendant company. You have said that that should be avoided, but what will be the impact on the bilateral relationship going forward? First, about the local workers from the Korean Peninsula. The Korean Supreme Court decision and related judicial proceedings, including the current ones, they are clear breach of international law. As for these measures and the monetization, it's not that it directly leads to the monetization, but about the seizure order related proceeding is going ahead. And on the extension of that, when it comes to monetization, then that would invite a serious situation. So that must be avoided. On this issue, at the teleconference between Korea and Japan, it was mentioned, and we have to solve this issue, and we are on the agreement on that. We would like to make sure that we do this, including the diplomatic channel.
Next question, please. Any other questions? Harakawa-san, please. Harakawa from Sankei. Entry, immigration, restrictions, relaxation is my question. With a certain country, if there is going to be a relaxation of immigration restrictions, as you discuss these matters with certain countries, reciprocity is the principle? The condition for people from the other country coming to Japan and Japanese nationals going to the other country, are you assuming that the conditions will be the same? There is going to be reciprocity? Basically, it's desirable to have the same conditions, same measures, at the same timing. That is desirable. But for each country, systems may be different. So whether it's going to be a complete match, complete reciprocity, Japanese nationals going to the other country and the other country's nationals coming to Japan, whether it's going to be exactly the same, and in terms of timing, is it going to be exactly the same date, or is there going to be some gap? Well, there could be some differences, but we hope that there's not going to be a big difference. Thank you.
Any other questions? Then, if not, we would like to end today's press conference. Thank you.